and she's including herself in the group. This might be a good opportunity for me to convince her to stay.
Chris Combs has long been the steady hand and voice of reason within the Slaton family on TLC's hit reality show 1000 Delby's Sisters, often acting as the mediator when his sisters Tammy and Amy found themselves in the middle of heated arguments, emotional breakdowns, or health emergencies. But in 2025, that dependable presence may disappear, as Chris has begun speaking candidly for the first time about the heavy toll reality TV has taken on his life, revealing that the relentless filming schedule, the constant intrusion into his personal moments, the escalating family tensions, and the unfiltered scrutiny from the public have driven him to seriously consider leaving the show for good. Early in the current season, attentive fans noticed Chris seemed quieter, more withdrawn, with fewer of his trademark witty one-liners, his shoulders slumped, and his eyes heavy. And while some chalked it up to a bad week or personal stress, insiders say it was the culmination of months, if not years, of private deliberation about whether to walk away. And now, with the Slaton family's relationships more strained than ever, Chris is finally pulling back the curtain on what's I said. As I said, we all know I've been exploring back the curtain and what's been going on behind the scenes, explaining that it began with something seemingly small, the exhaustion of non-stop filming, where each 45-minute episode is pulled from dozens of hours of footage, meaning cameras can be in his face at all times of day, waiting to catch every smile, tear, and reaction. And while in the early years, producers were more flexible about scheduling shoot days, allowing Chris to balance filming with his regular job and life, the skyrocketing popularity of the series eliminated that leniency, leaving him feeling as if the network owned his time, with little room to say no without being written into a scenario that could make him look bad on camera. Beyond the production grind, the constant exposure intensified the already volatile dynamics between his sisters, with Chris often stepping in to mediate when Tammy's temper flared or Amy needed emotional support, a role that became even more taxing in 2025 as reports of Tammy's marital troubles circulated and Amy, still adjusting to life as a mother, leaned heavily on Chris for help, prompting him to confess to a friend, "I can't save everyone. I'm drowning too, but I love them." And as if emotional stress weren't enough, Chris's health became another concern. So he's been open about his weight loss journey and the bariatric surgery that transformed his life. But he's also battled lingering health issues that have been aggravated by long filming days, constant travel, and the emotional wear and tear of being in the spotlight. At times feeling close to fainting during shoots, yet pushing through because stopping wasn't an option when cameras were rolling and producers wanted the scene. One incident in early 2025 became a breaking point, when the family spent hours filming a tense discussion between Tammy and Amy about a medical emergency Tammy had experienced weeks earlier, with Chris trying to mediate until the argument escalated into a full-blown shouting match. And while producers allegedly encouraged the conflict for dramatic effect, Chris eventually walked away, sitting in his truck for nearly an hour before telling a confidant, "I realized in that moment, this ain't worth it anymore. They want us to fight for ratings, and I'm not that kind of person." And while money had once been a motivation to stay, he now sees it differently, noting that for a secondary cast member like himself, the pay is far less than many assume, and certainly not worth sacrificing health, privacy, and peace of mind for a paycheck that's gone in a few months. The pressures haven't only come from production and family, though social media has become a double-edged sword, where despite having many supportive fans, Chris also faces constant criticism about his weight, marriage, and even how he talks to his sisters, with strangers accusing him of being too controlling with Amy or too lenient with Tammy. Comments that can burrow into his thoughts late at night when the cameras are off, fueling self-doubt. And now Chris stands at a crossroads, weighing whether to leave in the middle of the season or finish out the year and make the next his last, knowing he must protect his own well-being but reluctant to abandon his sisters on camera. telling those close to him, "I've given them years of my life, but I can't give them the rest. I have to live for myself now." And already fans are speculating about what might come next for him. Some envisioning a spin-off focused on his health journey, others believing he'll retreat entirely from the public eye, especially since sources say he's turned down other reality TV offers with the remark that he doesn't want to jump from one circus to another. His departure, whether quiet or dramatic, would mark a major turning point for the show, as the Slaton family's fragile balance could collapse without him. And though TLC might try to replace him with another relative or new cast member, loyal, viewers know there's no real substitute for Chris Combs, whose story underscores that reality TV fame comes at a price he's no longer willing to pay, as he put it himself. "This show gave me some positive moments, but it also took more than it ever should have, and I'm ready to take my life back. And part of reclaiming that life means holding on to the gains he's made since his weight loss, gains that go far beyond the numbers on a scale, encompassing the ability to enjoy basic pleasures again, like fitting comfortably in a restaurant booth, traveling without stress, and riding amusement park attractions he once had to avoid." And it was this transformation that originally inspired him to encourage Tammy to make similar lifestyle changes. A commitment he's kept through healthier eating, consistent activity, and a renewed appreciation for everyday experiences, all of which he's determined to preserve, even if it means stepping away from the cameras that help document the process but are now threatening his hard-earned peace. Because as much as fans have cheered for his success, they've also watched the mounting toll of production demands, family crises, and online negativity chip away at him, forcing him to confront one of the hardest choices of his life, whether to remain the calm, dependable brother in front of millions, or to walk away, saving himself but leaving behind a platform that once gave him the push to change. And from his recent comments, it seems Chris is leaning toward the latter, prioritizing self-preservation over fame, understanding that reality TV may be real in some moments, but is ultimately a crafted product designed for entertainment, and that the real consequences it leaves on the people living it are what last long after the cameras stop rolling.
4 years, bro. And I'm just leaving my child.
Chris Combs' journey on 1000 Del B Sisters stands as one of the most compelling transformation stories in reality television. A narrative built on determination, struggle, triumph, and the constant push and pull between personal health goals, complicated family bonds, and the unpredictable pressures of life in the public eye. Because when you trace his path, it becomes clear that his dramatic weight loss has never been just about a number on the scale, but about reshaping every part of his life, the way he moves through the world, the confidence with which he interacts, the ability to fully take part in experiences long denied. And for years before his transformation, Chris's size dictated not only what he could do, but how he saw himself, limiting his mobility, affecting his health, and keeping him from enjoying even simple family activities, with amusement parks becoming a vivid metaphor for all he had been missing. Those trips often ending with him on the sidelines, watching others ride roller coasters he couldn't fit into, feeling excluded but not yet ready to make the changes that would allow him to join in, until a turning point came when he decided enough was enough. A decision that happened to coincide with his entry into 1000 Del B Sisters, where cameras would follow not just the physical transformation, but the quieter, mental one. Because taking control meant facing the exhausting day-to-day grind of a serious weight loss journey, constant discipline, setbacks, adjustments, and determination. And when the results began to show, the difference was undeniable, with Season 3 marking a milestone as he returned to roller coasters. It's a symbolic moment that said he was no longer living on the sidelines, ready to embrace things he had avoided for years, soon followed by challenges like horseback riding in Season 4, which required overcoming not just physical limitations but ingrained fears. And succeeding at that became another sign of how far he had come, even if his humility kept him from celebrating too loudly. because Chris has always been open about his struggles and quick to use humor, often joking about his size, his clothes, or his love for good barbecue, before gradually letting that self-deprecating humor give way to quiet pride and self-respect. And after losing more than 140 pounds, becoming literally half the man he once was, he still sometimes marvels at his reflection compared to old photos, inspiring not only viewers, but also his family, as seen when he attended Sister Tammy Slaton's wedding to Caleb Willingham. In a sharp suit that radiated a confidence far removed from his early days on the show, and while he never sought to become a standout star, his achievements drew attention, with fans occasionally praising him on TikTok, only for him to modestly brush it off. Yet despite the support, his focus has stayed on reaching remaining health goals, including qualifying for skin removal surgery to address discomfort from excess skin, which in season 4 required losing another 50 pounds, a challenge he approached with determination rather than discouragement, just as he has approached helping Tammy through her own health battles. From her bariatric surgery to losing over 500 pounds to quitting vaping and qualifying for her own skin removal procedure. Though her history of unhealthy habits has always left him worried, especially before risky operations, when he admitted his biggest fear was whether she would survive. Because no matter their arguments, his commitment to her health has been constant, shown through driving her to appointments, delivering tough love when needed, and celebrating her victories. A role that has made him the leader of the pack in fans' eyes, the steady force holding the family together when tensions rise. But that role has also taken a toll, especially when combined with his own health challenges, production demands, and the double-edged sword of social media, which brings encouragement but also constant criticism of his looks, his marriage, his weight, and even his relationship with his sisters. Harsh comments that can echo long after filming ends, leaving him to seriously consider stepping away from the show, perhaps mid-season or after his contract ends, because as much as the series has brought positive change, it has also brought stress and scrutiny he no longer wants to endure indefinitely. And in his own words, while he has given years of his life to the show, he cannot give it the rest, insisting that now he must live for himself, sparking speculation about whether he will star in a spin-off documenting his continued health journey or a retreat entirely from public life, with reports suggesting he has already turned down offers from other reality shows to avoid moving from one circus to another. And while TLC could try to introduce new faces, longtime fans know there is no real replacement for Chris Combs. His grounded presence has steadied the show's most volatile moments. It's making his possible departure a seismic shift, because his story has always been a reminder that reality TV fame carries a cost, one he seems less willing to pay. And while the version of life shown on screen is edited for entertainment, the impact on the people living it is real, pushing Chris toward a choice that prioritizes self-preservation over celebrity. It's perfectly aligned with the lesson his journey has taught, that the most meaningful victories are the ones that allow you to live fully, freely, and on your own terms.
So our venue has both indoor and outdoor spaces, so it's really a blank slate you can kind of play with whatever vibe you're gonna have.
You've been watching Reality Ways in your front row seat to the most gripping, unfiltered, and unforgettable moments in reality television. From explosive confrontations to the quiet, heartfelt scenes that stay with you long after the credits roll, we go beyond the surface to uncover the real stories, the real emotions, and the real people behind the drama. Every episode, we bring you insight, context, and a fresh perspective you won't find anywhere else. If today's journey kept you watching, laughing, or even thinking twice, then make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're with us for every single twist, turn, and shock reveal still to come. Because here at Reality Weighs In, reality isn't just entertainment. It's an experience, and together we weigh in on every moment that matters.